Shalom Yasharala, HALALYAM, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well and taught us His truth through the Spirit. Shalom to the sincere Akim Wa'akwatiam, listening and learning and being doers of the word. Shalom to the speckled bird, scattered abroad that look like the other nations but are really Israelites. And shalom to the Akim, making their bodies a living sacrifice in these last days, pushing the word out in truth and sincerity. I want to make a quick lesson on, or exhortation on, really just minding our own business, because Jake is always concerned with what these other nations are doing, trying to be a part of their movements and their activities, and not only that, but they don't understand that the Bible, because they say that the Bible is the white man's book. It was written by the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, when in fact it's not. And all you have to do is read it to find that out, to understand that. Once you have the true understanding of the scriptures and of the history behind it, you realize that it couldn't be anyone else but us, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, or Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right, it can't be anyone but us. And when you learn that and you read, you see that the scriptures are for Israelites, by Israelites, to Israelites, including Paul's letters, which is a very rough stumbling block for a lot of people. All right, but what do you expect when people take everything out of context and literally start reading the Bible from the New Testament? All right, you don't start reading a book from the end or from around the climax. That makes no sense. You need to get the full context and understanding. Remember, YAHAWASHI, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus or Christ, he said he comes in the volume of the book. All right, and he quoted different Tanakh or Old Testament scriptures as well. All right, and the Apocrypha details a lot of accounts that are not in the Tanakh or the New Testament. Okay, so you need the whole book. You need the whole understanding to understand how things were done, the history, the background behind everything, and the full understanding of what, for example, Paul was talking about. All the things that he was talking about in his epistles or letters. Okay? So knowing that the scriptures are for us, by us, like Fubu, right? For us, by us, and to us. Does it make sense to learn from a Moabite like Gene Kim, or an Edomite like Vocab Malone, or these 2/3 that really just follow Christianity, so-called Christianity, because they're not true Christians? Okay, Christianity is just white supremacy. And religion, modern day religion, is false. All right, they're just trying to control you. The word religion goes back to the word religios or something like that. And the elder Tahar was bringing that out one time, I remember, and he said it means to bind or constrict, and he showed the etymology as well. I just don't remember very well. But it's even in the word, So you would have to go to an Israelite teacher. All right? And the scriptures say that you need a teacher. You can't just read it and understand it on your own. All right? So basically, it's all about Israel, Yasharallah. All right? It's all about the Lord's chosen people. YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI's chosen people. Yahweh being the true name of our Heavenly Father. Okay? And YAHAWASHI being the true name of Christ. So I'm going to start in Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 11 verse 7. Blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first and then rebuke. And this goes back to the law in, I believe it's Leviticus, roughly paraphrasing. It says, do not wrest judgment, be not a respecter of persons, but ye shall hear the small as well as the great. Alright, so it's basically telling us to judge righteously. And this goes into minding our own business, because we might just jump in the middle of something and not understand what it's for, why it's taking place, why it's occurring, and who's on the right side, Really, if you're gonna go out of your way to understand someone else's situation in the first place, it's a waste of time, because they're heathens. Alright, we need to be putting that kind of effort into our people and to what's going on with us, because we're still in the lowest state that we're in across Babylon, across the whole world, That's that self-hatred, like we don't care about ourselves. And we damn sure don't care about our people, because we keep on trying to assimilate and integrate with people that don't care about us. That's that Stockholm Syndrome. Cooning and buffooning. Alright. Verse 8. Answer not before thou hast heard the cause, neither interrupt men in the midst of their talk. Alright. Strive not in a matter that concerneth thee not, and sit not in judgment with sinners. And all heathens are not necessarily sinners because they weren't given the law in the first place, but because they know right from wrong and they still choose to do wrong. That shows you that, they are by definition sinners, but regardless of whether they're sinners or not, they're heathens. So we shouldn't bother with them anyway. The Lord tells us that we should separate from them, or we're supposed to separate from them. Alright? Unless they're sojourning among us and in subjection to us, and in subjection and submission to Yahweh, BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, wholeheartedly, we shouldn't even be dealing with heathens at all. And in this captivity, regardless, we shouldn't trust no damn heathens at all. Period. Alright. Verse 10. My son, meddle not with many matters, for if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent. Alright, so Jake going to protest and trying to stand with so-called Palestine, which the brother GMS Pillar in the Temple brought it out that in one of his videos, it's called Ishmael is Not Your Friend, Jake. He was talking about how the so-called Palestinians there, they're not even the real, they don't even belong on the land that they're in. Meanwhile, they're trying to fight over the land that the Amalekites are in right now, which they know that that's not their land either, but it's not, the Palestinians there are not the original people that were there either. The original people of Palestine are the Philistines, and they're Hamites, or so-called Africans. Alright? So, yeah, Jake going over there trying to protest and do all this, foolish crap, we shouldn't be meddling with that. It has nothing to do with us, because they will never stand up for you. So why would you stand up for them? Jake is always trying to defend people other than themselves, other than each other. Meanwhile, we'll go kill each other and not bat an eye. You know? And if thou follow after, thou shalt not obtain, neither shalt thou escape by fleeing. Okay? So once you meddle in something that doesn't concern you, and you get deep into it, because you will, you know, once you meddle with it, you're stuck. You're in it. All right, you made yourself a part of it. So even if you run away, you can't escape it. You made yourself a part of it, so now you got to deal with it. All right. Back a chapter in chapter 10 of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, it says, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. Okay? So this is how it should be among ourselves. Obviously with the one that's in power right now, Esau, Edom, which is a so-called white man, woman, and child, they're not, well, it'll go into that. Verse 2, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And you can see this with social media influencers, right? You are your audience. You make your audience. Whatever you do will attract a certain crowd. So if you carry yourself in a certain way, it's going to attract the same type of people. If they don't mess with you, they're not going to mess with you. All right, just like a hoe, right? Like these gamer hoes, they're going to attract these simps. All right, they're not going to attract guys like me, obviously. And you can put this for hoes in general, or women in general that carry themselves like hoes but don't want to be addressed as hoes. All right, you're not going to attract men like me, for example, right? Lord willing, I'm a part of the elect, you know, not to be prideful or anything, but just on a surface level, I'm not going to go for hoes. I would at least like to consider myself a somewhat good man, you know, even though the Lord himself, you know, said, why callest thou me good? But, you know, let's not even use me, right? So you're not going to attract a man of the Lord, let's say a man of the Lord, if you carry yourself like a prostitute. You know, you have to carry yourself as like every sister wants to say, a Proverbs woman, right? They all call themselves, I'm a Proverbs 31 woman. I believe the chapter is 31. They put that in their bio. They plaster it all over their walls and stuff. But do you actually carry yourself like that? Why are you still complaining about the men in your life, or the men that you welcome into your life? You know? The scriptures say a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man. So that's not just for brothers, that's for sisters too. Alright, if y'all are just arguing and struggling and, you know, the marriage is not fruitful or loving, then it has something to do with the both of you, you know? So like this scripture says, as the judge of the people is himself. So if you have a righteous ruler, you're going to have a good example for the people to follow. All right. Continuing on, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. Okay. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Alright? The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. Okay? Jumping to Proverbs 29:2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. All right? People are mourning right now because the wicked beareth rule. Okay? I like how it said that the wicked beareth rule, but it didn't say that they are in authority, because there is no authority in Babylon today, you know? It's just they're just in rulership. They just hold the power seat, but it's no respect being given or being delivered, being given or at all, you know? There's no respect at all, period. You know what I mean? Because when there's authority, you have like the Godhead in Corinthians, in 1 Corinthians, where it says Yahweh is the head of YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI is the head of man, the man is the head of the woman, and the woman is the head of the children. All right, that's a righteous hierarchy. Those are levels of authority, and that's decent and orderly. Okay, but this society doesn't have that. They just have people in power. Okay, and it's just a bunch of wicked people. Okay, and that's why the people are mourning today. They're suffering, they're dying. You know, people are going through all types of plagues and pestilences, you know, eating abominable foods, all this wickedness, madness, and folly. Okay? Once again, proving that we need to separate ourselves from this and get into this book, because this book has the truth, and get into the faith, because the faith is what's going to save us, and teaching others also, potentially saving those that hear us. That's all you have to do. It's not hard at all. Okay? I believe that was it for those two. And then back in Sirach chapter 10 verse 7, pride is hateful before Yahweh and man, and by both doth one commit iniquity. Alright? And Esau is the embodiment of pride. Esau talks in pride, he walks in pride, he acts prideful, he lives prideful. Everything about him is pride. Okay? Like the scriptures say, he exalted himself as the eagle, and he wants to be like the Most High. He wants to be above the Most High. He wants to be God. Okay? He wants to put everyone down to worship him. Okay? But Yahweh hates pride. Men hate pride too. Okay? Every time Edomites talk to each other, it's like, watch that movie American Psycho. Okay? Viewer discretion is advised. But it's a pretty good movie. I feel like I should do a whole movie review on that. Like, that's how, you know, unwittingly deep that movie is. Because they'll look at that as a capitalist thing, you know, materialism and shit like that. But Israelites can view that with spiritual discernment and see that this is Esau. Esau snitching on himself. You know? It's nothing but pride versus pride. Passive aggressiveness. You know? And then every now and then the psycho comes out. What he really wants to do. And what he does do behind the scenes. But he presents himself like a white, meaning pure. He presents himself as a loving, you know, pure hero. Okay? which is why he's a devil, because he's a deceiver. Okay? Satan's chosen people. Verse 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Okay? Why is earth and ashes proud? Okay? Earth and ashes, like the base men, like it says in Job. They were children of base men. They were viler than the earth. Job wouldn't even set them among the dogs of his flock. They're cavemen, okay? They were cavemen. That's why they want to push that whole evolution theory BS. Because that's what Esau was doing. He was smashing animals, monkeys, mixing with monkey blood and all this weird ish, you know, walking on all fours. That's real history. And he doesn't know what happened during the Dark Ages because he was in the dark, in the caves. But Israel, Yasharallah, we were ruling during the Dark Ages, the so-called Moors. Okay, we knew we were Israelites, and that's where we got the 1611 KJV. Or it eventually led to that, rather. You know? King James was a so-called black man. And he, along with his team of translators and scribes, translated the scriptures for us. Alright? So, why is Esau proud? Why is earth and ashes proud? There's not a more wicked thing than a covetous man, which is what Esau is. He's a covetous man. For such an one setteth his own soul to sale, because while he liveth he casteth away his bowels. Alright? Setteth his own soul to sale, because while he liveth he casteth away his bowels. That goes back to how Esau actually sold his birthright for a morsel of meat, for that red pottage. It wasn't even done cooking yet. Esau loves that raw food. He just had to get some. He was exaggerating, crying me a river. He needed to eat because he was dying. Alright? That's how wicked and foolish and how much of a base man Esau is. Okay? And yet he's proud. Alright? Verse 10, the physician cutteth off a long disease, and he that is today a king, tomorrow shall die. Alright, so just like a doctor gets rid of a long disease. You may be a king today, you may be in rulership today, Esau, but tomorrow you shall die. And very soon, YAHAWASHI is going to come back and he's going to put countless Edomites to death. Alright, the Lord's going to send plagues, demons to haunt you. This is all coming to Babylon, which is why we need to get in the Word now while we can, while we still have this grace period. That's what grace is for. We're not already saved. We're using grace to get right so that we may be counted worthy to be saved. Okay? Lord willing. Yahweh Ratazah. Adawan Ratazah. Lord willing. Or Yahweh Ratazah. Or Abba, which is Father. Abba Ratazah. Verse 11, for when a man is dead, he shall inherit creeping things, beasts, and worms, which is where you're going, Esau. When the maggots and the dirt consumes your flesh, your freaking rotting flesh like a damn walker off The Walking Dead. Amos 3:1, hear this, Lord, Hear this word, Salakia, that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, Yasharallah, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. Okay, this is the Lord telling us straight up, he only knows us, and he does not change. Malachi, I believe it's 3 and 6. I'll just get it. Salakia. Khan. Malachi 3 and 6. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob, or Yaquab, are not consumed. Okay, the Lord does not change. We will always be his chosen people, and he will always love us and not care about any of these damn heathens and hate Esau. Always. That's always. He will not change that. Okay? Which is why we get punished. The scriptures also say, despise not the chastisement of the Lord. For whosoever he chastises, he dealeth with as sons. If he didn't correct us for the wrongdoings that we were committing and the sins that we were committing, then we would be bastards. Because what father doesn't correct or discipline his son or daughter? You know? Verse 3, can two walk together except they be agreed? Okay? So can we walk with these Ishmaelites and Edomites and Moabites and Ammonites and so on and so forth, Japhites, except they be agreed unto our power, unto our people? Absolutely not. This is a rhetorical question. Will a lion roar in the forest when he hath no prey? Will a young lion cry out of his den if he hath taken nothing? Can a bird fall in a snare upon the earth where no jinn is for him? Shall one take up a snare from the earth and have taken nothing at all? So this is like cause and effect. There's a balance to everything. Alright, just like two walking together, that's a balance. Or good and evil, that's a balance. Or there's, you know, the bird is after food, so there may be a snare for the bird to fall in. The only reason he fell into the snare is because he was after the jinn, you know. Although I might be mistaken on the meaning of jinn. Maybe I can look that up right now. Amos, what was it, 3 and 5? Jinn. Bait, lure, snare, exactly. You know? So, how can he fall into the snare if there wasn't bait? You know? Shall one take up a snare from the earth and have taken nothing at all? So, if you laid out a trap, something had to be caught in the trap for you to, you know, pick it up again, you know? Why would you take it up if there was nothing for you to take? Verse 6, or Salakia, verse 6. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in a city, and the Lord hath not done it? Because the scriptures also say, or let's get that one too. Do all these things. Isaiah 45:7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Okay? Verse 7. Surely the Lord, Yahweh, will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants the prophets. So what secret? Why would the gospel be a secret? Because it's only for Yasharallah. The Lord knew all this was going to happen. He wrote this. He made this the way it was. It's not for everyone to understand. This is also for brothers or sisters trying to, hold hand in hand with heathens. Okay, the Lord does not care about heathens. Don't waste your time trying to proselytize or convert heathens, because they weren't meant to get it in the first place. Now there is the speckled bird, and we prophesy unto everyone, and we tell them their judgment. Alright, and we tell them the prophecies because that's what the Lord instructed us to do. Alright, he instructed us to cry aloud, spare not, and show my people their transgressions. And he also set us up to prophesy against many great nations, just as the prophets of old did. We're doing the same thing today in Babylon, prophesying against them. The speckled bird, as they hear these words, their spirit, if the Lord allows it, may resonate with it. And that's how you know if they're really an Israelite or not. Not by their appearance, not by their DNA, because DNA is not reliable at all. It's by the Spirit. The Spirit beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahweh. BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. That's in Romans. Okay? So there's a cause and effect, a balance, a reason for everything that's going on. Okay? So he reveals his secrets unto the prophets for them to prophesy, for the Israelites. Salakia. For the Israelites, for us, YAHAWADAH, we're part of the hopeful elect, the 1/3, alright, to teach our people and bring them into the fold. Alright, Lord's will. The lion hath roared, who will not fear? The Lord Yahweh hath spoken, who can but prophesy? Alright, the Lord Yahweh hath spoken, who can but prophesy? Now I'm going to end it in Psalms chapter 147, verse 19 and 20. He showeth his word unto Yahweh, his statutes and his judgments unto Yasharallah. He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye HALALYAM, the Lord Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. And with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI BAHASHAM QADASH. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well and taught us his truth through the Spirit. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the sincere Akim Wa'akwatiam, listening and learning, being doers of the word. To the speckled bird that look like the other nations but are truly Yasharallah. And to the sincere Akim that are pushing the word out in truth and sincerity, making their bodies a living sacrifice in these last days. Abad Babal. Kwam Yasharallah.